And the short answer is that this is just what I love doing. When I was an undergrad, I read The Plant Messiah by Carlos Magdalena, and all the stories about bringing plants back from the brink of extinction made me really want to devote my career to the same thing. And this PhD opportunity that I'm in now at Chester Zoo and Manchester Metropolitan University aligned so well with the master's work that I had done at Northwestern University and the Chicago Botanic Garden. And so it really felt like just an opportunity that was made for me. First and foremost, my dad, Scott Murrell. Without him, my education never would have been possible. He supported me every day and has been the foundation for everything. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to be him when I grew up, and I still want to be him when I grow up. Academically, I would say my master's advisor, Jeremy Pant at the Chicago Botanic Garden. He has supported me throughout so much of my advanced education and continues to support me, even though I'm no longer his student. And he has advocated for me. He has given my research to researchers and talked about it at international conferences. And honestly, I don't know where I would be without him. And lastly, I would say Abby Meyer, formerly of BVCI. She has been another just really strong advocate for me in this community. And she's the reason for like my first authorship paper. And she just ropes me into conversations that are really meaningful and in spaces that are really important. And both of them have done that and have really shaped my career so far. Absolutely. And I think I'm the most proud of the network that I've cultivated for myself. I get to work with so many different plant science researchers and zoo researchers and people that I just really look up to. And I'm proud of myself for taking the opportunities that have come to me and giving them my all every time. Amorphophallus titanum is a really fascinating species, and it always draws a crowd to botanic gardens, and it's held widely around the world and has been for nearly 150 years. But it's really interesting and unique because it gets treated a lot like an animal in terms of the way that it's managed, because its names often, like plants are given names, and a lot of the parents are known often, and so that makes it a really kind of unique opportunity to apply like a zoological model of endangered species conservation to plants, because Amorphophallus is treated in some ways more like an animal than a plant. And so it gave us a really amazing opportunity to adapt this model to a plant species that hadn't been used on a plant that had been so widely collected and so held in collections for so long. My career as a conservation scientist has irreversibly changed my relationship with nature. When I was a kid, I was not outdoorsy at all. I actually hated being outside. And it wasn't until I was in my undergrad and I started studying conservation and plants that I started loving being outside. And I notice everything now. I notice all the plants. I notice all the moths. I stopped to look for spring ephemerals, and it's stuff that I never would have done as a child. And so I think being in this field has been one of the greatest gifts to my quality of life. I think it would just be kind of overall the importance of conserving plant species. When people think about conservation, I think they always think about animals first. So in a lot of ways, they're kind of classically thought of as being more charismatic. But I love giving people examples of why plants are really cool and really fascinating, and why they deserve our attention. And I think one of my main goals, just as a plant conservation scientist, is just to get people excited about plants and see that the conservation of plants matters a lot too. So for researchers, I feel like I've kind of become the person that keeps advocating for good accession data management. But that really is advice that I have, I guess. At this point, I've looked at thousands of accession records, and I can say that not keeping complete data or standardized data is can easily derail a study. And I think that's probably my biggest advice for researchers in plant sciences. But for students, I would say that I think the best advice I can give is just to keep following the topics that you really care about. because I think it's really easy as a student to kind of stop being able to see the forest for the trees, and it's really easy to get bogged down. I really like this question. I used to always kind of answer this as I want to prevent just at least one plant species from going extinct. And I think that might be kind of a lofty goal, and maybe more practically. A lot of my work so far is focused on quality of accession data. And I think that truly by the time I retire, if gardens were using a standardized, centralized database and it was widely used across the world to manage plant records, and manage living collections, and we truly had like a ZIMS for plants, I think that would make me feel like I accomplished what I was set out to do.